to stick to just one particular band that is doing well, then Oshim died, which was quite a setback. I had certain other things in my mind which I was not being able to explore with Indian Ocean. Although I enjoyed the time when we were really creative and created really, I think, Depths of the Ocean I composed before forming Indian Ocean, but it never got included in the Indian Ocean's repertoire. I've questioned things about what is the family, what is what is this whole concept of nations. I also do not believe in boundaries. Any institution that demarcates one set of people from the other is detrimental for human growth. Look, hegemony is there. Money is also hegemony, right? This line mein paise hai kya? If you're doing it because of that, then I don't think you will ever do justice to music.
Thank you for tuning in. Empire Diaries usually gives you news analysis and commentaries on geopolitics and current affairs, right? But today you must be surprised, you must be pleasantly surprised to find that we are with the music legend Susmit Sen. So let's find out what he has to tell us, because at the end of the interview, you'll realize that not in music only, his words also have a lot of meaning for generations to come. Thank you, Susmita, for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
You created Indian Ocean. You made it a big thing. It was a milestone in Indian music. After that, you went on to create a second innings for yourself and for music lovers. So could you tell us what made you make that jump?
Whether it was a jump or not, I realized that beyond a point, even if it is your creation, that does not mean that you have to stick to it for the rest of your life. I was there with them for about 23 and a half years, and that's quite a lot. I had certain other things in my mind which I was not being able to explore with Indian Ocean. Although I enjoyed the time when we were really creative and created really, I think, good music. But I wanted to explore it even more in my own way. Therefore, I took that step of leaving Indian Ocean and starting my own another band and exploring some of my own compositions, which was not possible with Indian Ocean. So any longer. So that's why this what you call is a jump. I say a change.
So what was it about the new compositions? What is the philosophy behind it and the music behind it that made you decide that, okay, let me go for this now?
You know, when you create and when you create very honestly, intellectualizing it by saying that this is, there's an ideology and things like that, it does not happen like that. It has not happened with me. But when I see the co-musicians who I'm working with, whether they are comfortable with the newness that I was trying to get and so on, if they are not, then like say Depths of the Ocean. Depths of the Ocean I composed before forming Indian Ocean, but it never got included in the Indian Ocean's repertoire. and then there were so many other compositions which were brewing. And I was still with the Indian Ocean, but uh, I could see a resistance from the others to take those into the repertoire. So the only way out was to break out of it and do it myself.
So this kind of it also goes along with a trend also in world music as well. We've seen people like John Lennon, Ozzy Osbourne, and Sting. They had established bands, and then they moved on, and they did even better, according to a lot of music connoisseurs.
Well, I'm not familiar with Ozzy Osbourne's music. Yes, Sting, I know that he did flourish after he left the band, or whether the band was still there or not, I do not know. John Lennon was a completely different case because the band broke up. So it was not just one person breaking away from this thing. Uh, in fact, I also have a lot of respect for, say, Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney, I think, is the most underrated bass player in the world. I think his bass playing was absolutely superlative. His compositional, a lot of compositions in Beatles were his. And John Lennon, yes, I again huge respect for that one particular number. Imagine, which put him utopical, but amazing.
What is it about Imagine that you like the most?
It's about showing the people that there can be togetherness, there can be life without boundaries. So that's something which goes very well with my thought process. And I also do not believe in boundaries. I have always tried to propagate as much togetherness and so on. So any kind of boundaries. I've questioned things about what is the family, what is what is this whole concept of nations. Being proud of being on this side of the border is something which I just can't bring it within myself to say that yes, I actually support this kind of thought process. I can't do it.
You do not believe in the concept of artificial borders.
Absolutely. Any institution that demarcates one set of people from the other is detrimental for human growth as a society. That's what I believe in.
ওই পারি আমার দেশের বাড়ি ওই যে ঘরগুলো দেখা যাচ্ছে এত কাছে অথচ কোনোদিন আমি ওখানে পৌঁছতে পারবো না ওটা বিদেশ
Has this philosophy also somewhat reflected in your music career as well, where you established one form of new music, Indian Ocean, for more than 2 decades, and then once again you seem to break a barrier and then go beyond that and establish something else, what we see right now. So is this an extension of your philosophy, of your thoughts?
Yes and no. The fact that to stick to just one particular band that is doing well, then Aseem died, which was quite a setback. Although Aseem knew, ultimately I was wanting to leave the band. when Aseem died, it was a completely something told me that I have to bring this whole thing back on the road. So now the person who sings out there, Himanshu Joshi, I had brought him in to the band. I had suggested Nikhil Rao that he should replace. And another thing is that it was a known fact within all the band members that when we had crossed 20 years of togetherness and creating stuff, I used to tell them that if you think that you have created a legacy, then that the legacy has to continue. And how will it continue? We cannot continue to play the way we are playing. We have to, give our space to the younger generation, right? So that was another thing that was there in my mind.
So you wanted newer faces and newer members.
Yeah, newer faces meaning that at least there was a philosophy behind the music and why we did not follow genres and why I never ever have played a single cover. Right. Um, so that legacy, if you could involve younger people and instill this particular idea in their minds that this is a way to go. So do not try to copy or get influenced too much by other people. You like other kinds of music? Brilliant. I think that every musician should have. One of the things while learning music, whether it's a guitar, it's a piano, or whatever, I think this whole education of of uh, introducing the students or young musicians that you should actually hear a lot of music from around the world, and there is brilliant music all over the place. Unfortunately, because of the English and the Western hegemony, the um, I see when people talk about genres, they talk about either Indian music or it is Western music, which is either blues or jazz. But there's so much more music. All if you go to the Eastern Europe, you go to Russia, you can't imagine the kind of music that there is. South America, Africa. So actually, from all over the place, you get beautiful music.